I am not buying until the prices come down and the market really cools off. Then I will get a deal. If you've been in the market for the past 12 months trying to buy a home and didn't think this, I would think it was kind of strange because these are the words I hear out of everyone's mouth. And I completely understand why you would think and feel that way. Our market has been on fire. Then we saw interest rates skyrocket. We saw our affordability go down the drain. And then we saw our demand absolutely fall off a cliff. And all these things brought back every feeling that we felt in 2008. Should you wait to buy a home while the market corrects itself for the next 6 to 12 months so that it'll put you in a better position as a buyer? Let's take a look at how our overall housing market is doing and look at a few different scenarios that you might be in and things you need to think about. And before you say, you're a real estate agent, of course you want people to be buying and selling real estate right now. That's how you get paid. I do not think that this market is the right time for everyone to be buying or selling for that matter. This is a time for you to look at it. If it's a great opportunity for you, then I think you should do it. If it's not, that's okay. But what you should do if it's not, you should be making a plan so that you can put that plan in action when the timing is right for you. So first, let's look at our current supply and demand. Now, in the Phoenix market, we have seen our inventory rise pretty rapidly over the last 5 months. And for a few months, we were seeing well over 1,000 listings per week come on the market. Now, this increased inventory was very welcomed right in the beginning because we had been sitting at about 4,500 active listings since about March, which was historically low. We are now currently sitting at about 17,000 active listings on the market. But for our market right now, this time of year, 17,000 listings is still low. Our normal inventory levels at this time of year are 21 to 22,000 active listings. Now, we've talked about this on my channel before, that a few of the contributing factors to how quickly our inventory actually rose was new construction actually being added to MLS. They had not done this for the past 2 years. The other contributing factor was all of the iBuyers that were actually in the market and in MLS needing to sell their homes. That does not change the fact that our inventory rose quickly. Couple this with our interest rates rising, putting buyers on the sidelines waiting, and our demand really started to drop. Interest rate hikes made a really big impact on our demand and slowed our market significantly. Over the past 2 years, during the first week of August, we have seen 10 to 11,000 homes under contract. And this year, during that same week, we have seen 7,500. We've been seeing the number of contracts decline while our inventory rose. This changed our market pretty significantly and drastically. Higher supply, lower demand. And all of these factors have put us into a more balanced market, a more normal market. Many don't believe we are in a normal market because we've been in a seller's market since 2014. So this shift in the market is not a very familiar one to most. And the shifts just keep coming. In the past 2 weeks, we have actually seen a decline in the number of active listings coming on the market. And we have seen an increase in the number of homes going under contract. This has actually put the brakes on the further decline of the market, which would have pushed us into a buyer's market had it continued. What we are seeing for the first time in 2 years are our normal seasonal trends in the market for buying and selling. It's normal for us to see a lower number of contracts during the summer months. We are not like other cities where summer is our hot selling season. And it is normal for our cities around the valley to be in different stages: buyer, balanced, and seller. Now, I know I just said that the number of contracts that we have currently is below what we've had for the past 2 years. But just remember, the past 2 years were not normal. Our market is beginning to balance out and get back to normal. Now, I know some people really believe we are headed for a crash, which I will say again, I do not believe we are headed for a crash. The numbers are not showing signs of a crash. Nothing is. The feelings are, but the numbers are not. So just out of curiosity, for those that are thinking we're headed for a crash, what is a crash to you? 10%, 15%, 20%, 50+% price decline? Tell me in the comments below. I'm really curious. Now, the second thing you should consider, unless you're paying all cash for the house, are the interest rates, which have been all over the place this entire year. We began the year under 3%, then we went all the way up to 6%, and now we've been everywhere in between. And here in the Phoenix market, we really saw our demand pick up when we came just below that 5% mark. Now, the Fed is going to be meeting again in September to talk about what they're going to do with the Fed's fund rate. and most believe they're going to raise it another 50 basis points. And for many, that scares you because you think they're going to raise that. That means that interest rates are going to go up. Mortgage interest rates will go up. But just remember what happened the last time they did it in July. They raised it 75 basis points and mortgage rates actually went down. It's been an interesting year to say the least. We have seen interest rates rise. We have seen inflation go crazy. And now we are starting to see a little settling out. And we can only hope that it's going to settle out just a little bit more. Now, when it comes to interest rates, many people actually believe that we have already seen the peak that we will see in 2022, and that we'll start to see maybe more of a flatlining of the interest rates. But the reality is, no one really knows what's going to happen to the interest rates. No one. But what we do know is that there are opportunities for buyers in this market. Because the market has shifted more to a balanced market and a buyer's market in some cities like we just talked about, sellers are having to negotiate. They are having to offer concessions to actually get their homes sold. And one of those great options to the buyer is the rate buy down. Now, I did a video on this a while back, and I'm just going to put a link to that right here. Now, there are also other options for buyers when buying, like an adjustable rate mortgage. Now, this can offer a lower interest rate and some more flexibility for a buyer when buying. These can also get a bad rap because of the 2008 housing crash, but let's not forget that lending practices have changed drastically. So it's no different with this loan program. Now, I personally would only look at a 7 or a 10-year adjustable rate mortgage, but this is something that you need to talk over with your lending professional and possibly your financial planner to find out what is right for you. The current interest rates are not going to stay the same forever, and you can always refinance out of the adjustable rate mortgage into a fixed mortgage, but over time, you can be gaining that equity. So what else do you look for when you're trying to decide if it's a good time to buy or sell a home? Now, let's take a look at a few different types of buyers that are in the market right now and what they should be thinking about. First, let's talk about the first-time home buyer. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer and have been in the market for any length of time, you could be burned out, made an offer, didn't get it accepted, decided you were going to stop looking, got back in the market, tried it again, stopped looking again. It has been exhausting. It has been really hard on the first-time home buyers for these past couple years. And as prices have gone up and affordability has gone down, what do? Well, this is when you have to be flexible and sometimes creative. You might want to buy a house, but maybe you need to be looking at a condo or a townhouse. And if you can afford a house, you probably want a pool living in Phoenix, but you might need to look at homes with and without a pool. You might also need to reduce the number of bedrooms that you're looking for or change the location you're looking in. This is when you really need to write down the pros and cons of each different scenario. Now, when you're thinking about where you want to live, if this is your number one priority, then do not look anywhere else. What you're going to have to sacrifice is maybe the size of the home and some of the other finishes or features of the home. On the flip side, if the features and things like that are the most important to you in the home, then you're going to have to possibly change the location you're looking in. There are two pieces of advice that I give every first-time homebuyer that I'm working with. Number one, you have to love your house. You are going to be spending a lot of time in this house. So it'll do is not okay. You need to love the house. It is the largest purchase you are ever going to make. Love what you buy. The second big piece of advice is stretch yourself just a little bit. Now, I say this just a little bit because I mean it. Don't stretch yourself so far that it feels so uncomfortable you can't sleep at night. I never want to do that to a client. But stretch yourself just a little bit that it's a tiny bit uncomfortable, because what's going to happen is that first month you move in, you're going to make that mortgage payment and you're going to say, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And it gains you so much more in your home that you now love. Now, the 2 years we've just been through, it's been really challenging to do that because our inventory has been so low, the market has been so hot, competition has been high. This is the time in the market that is best for you. You have got more homes to choose from. The sellers have to negotiate. You have got room and you have got some power. Take advantage of this while you have it. As you can see, I am a big proponent of home ownership for growing wealth. So for me, it is a big conversation to have, and it is a worthy conversation to have. And sometimes at the end of that conversation, we find out it is not the right time for you to buy, but we need to put a plan in place so that when you are ready to buy, we are ready to go. Next are the buyers that are also sellers. Now, is it still a good time to sell your house? Well, it's not February or March of earlier this year, which was amazing, but it is still a good time to sell your house, as long as you understand what the market is. It might take you a few weeks or a month to sell your home, and you might have to offer a seller concession. But just like we were talking about earlier, when you're looking to buy, you could be asking the same questions of the seller you're looking at. And the other big benefit for you is that the seller contingency is back. We can actually write a contract and get it accepted with a contingency for your home to sell. So no longer do you have to own 2 homes at once. Now, no matter what market we're in, buying and selling a home at the same time can be tricky. So understanding what the market conditions are like in the market you're in currently and making a plan can really help things go more smoothly. What's part of that plan? Part of the plan needs to be about strategizing. Should you list your house first or find your house first? These things change based on the market conditions that you're in. Right now, I would highly suggest getting your house on the market first. This is going to give you some great feedback that you will need for that contingent offer to know what kind of a buffer you need as far as timing is concerned. Having the ability to write contingent offers again is a great benefit for those buyers and sellers that need to do both at the same time. Now, this third buyer doesn't really have to move, but they would like to at some point. Or this is a buyer that is looking for a second home. Now, this is a great market for you because you've got time on your side. You can be patient and wait for the right house and the right deal. In this current market, we do have some motivated sellers. We've got flip investors and iBuyers that both need to get these homes off of their books quickly. We have some other sellers in this market that will reduce their price just to get it sold so they can be done. Some sellers, and agents for that matter, are not used to a balanced market, so they're really unsure about timing. It is not going to be just a few days in this current market. I see some sellers just get burnt out, and this is when I see them lean heavily into the negotiation process just so they can get their house done and move on. And the good thing for you, again, is you've got time on your side to be patient, wait for the right house and the right deal. And with our inventory hire, you have even more options. And with October coming, you will likely have even more options because this is the time in our year when our seasonal trend shows an increase in inventory. Now, if you like this video, make sure you take a look at this one right here. If I can answer any questions for you at all, please feel free to reach out. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.